So welcome to another clinical case review by your host, Dr. Chris Brown. Today, I'll be going through an upper cervical chiropractic case I had with a person who was dealing with Hashimoto's. This is gonna be a really cool kind of clinical story because for the most part, people who suffer from autoimmune conditions think that there's nothing that can be done to help them. And no one's able to tell them why their body and their immune system is essentially attacking itself. So when we get a person who has an autoimmune condition that is one of their chief complaints, primary complaints, or we just find out about it on the review of systems, that's a really cool day for us to be able to kind of explain, hey, like this might be nervous system related because there's a reason why our immune system is fighting itself. Rarely is it actually caused by genetics, which are most people's default reasons and also most people's default explanation, especially from practitioners. But our body's not designed to attack itself. Our immune system is designed to defend itself. And if it is attacking itself, that means that there's something going on that's causing so much stress in the immune system that is going to revert on itself and get gung-ho. Genetics are just a part of the ladder. They don't pull the trigger. And this is gonna be a story of that. So this lady, she came in to us. I actually knew her husband through a networking group, and he said, hey, I think my wife can help with this, all the stuff you've been talking about with gut-brain connection, mental health, autoimmune conditions. I think that there's something to this. I think that that this could be a big help for her if we find out that she's a candidate. And if this is your first video, how we go about our process with upper cervical chiropractic is, A, we need to find out if the nervous system is involved because we essentially specialize in nervous system function. So what we do here, step one for us, is we do an objective nervous system test, which is called computerized infrared thermography, and that is going to show us a graph basically showing how well the nervous system is functioning. Just like how an EKG measures heart function, this test measures nervous system function, and we do this in our clinic on every single consult, as well as every single visit, as well as after every single adjustment. So a very data-driven, objective process. We want to make sure that we're not guessing when it comes to our decisions and also the progression of clinical improvement. So this lady, she came in and she was just dealing with a pretty bad low back pain. That's actually what got her in, was low back pain and bilateral leg numbness. So she had tingling, nerve pain, tingling going down both of her legs, but she had low back pain so bad that she was taking 4 ibuprofen a night. She had difficulties rolling out of bed, difficulties sitting up out of bed, going up and down the stairs. She'd get like random bouts of unexplained weakness in her legs where they just wouldn't work. She also had some neck pain, some headaches, and she also had heat, cold intolerance, and unexplained fatigue, which kind of played into her difficulties going up and down the stairs when her legs felt super weak. She'd get like random dizzy episodes at times, and when we're going through her history together, we found out that she had been diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is a hypothyroidism, where the thyroid is producing it's an autoimmune condition of the thyroid, where our immune system is creating antibodies to essentially attack part of the cells in our thyroid. And our thyroid is an organ that sits kind of right here in our throat that regulates a lot of metabolism, our ability to regulate temperature, a lot of energy, and hormones as well. And when explaining to her what we found, her scans showed a pretty significant degree of nervous system dysfunction, stress on the nervous system in the upper neck. And that made me be like, okay, I know that the nervous system is involved. I do not know, I can't say with confidence how much symptoms are involved with the nervous system, but I do know that the nervous system is in a state of dysfunction and that we can help get this restored. Okay, so I wasn't making a claim that this is going to clear up your autoimmune condition, the symptoms associated with it, but I'm like, okay, we're going to be resetting your nervous system, essentially restoring function, which is going to be restoring your autonomics. Our autonomic nervous system is very similar. Essentially, it's our automatic nervous system, especially for someone who has not heard of this word before. Our nervous system is all of the nerves and electrical signals that make our body work. So me being able to wave my hands like this, that is conscious. That's my brain saying, wave your hands, Chris. And then, but what's unconscious or automatic is like my heart beating, me breathing to a degree, my liver processing the food I just ate. All of those processes are occurring in my organs and at my cells and with my bones and blood flow. I don't have conscious control over that. That's automatic, which in doctor words is called autonomic. Now, the autonomic nervous system has two subdivisions. We have the stress division, the fight or flight division, and we have the calm side, the relaxed division. The stress side is called our sympathetic. The calm side is called our parasympathetic. The parasympathetic is responsible for a lot of organ function. So organs digesting, absorbing food, our immune system working well, our hormones, our muscle tone, a lot of that has to do with the parasympathetic nervous system, especially the immune system. When a nervous system is under so much stress, it causes a pretty significant suppression of our immune system function that can really decrease its capacity to work. And it can also cause so much stress on the system that our immune system will start attacking itself. It'll pick a cell that it thinks is a foreign invader. It'll say, oh, this is the problem. This is why I'm stressed. I need to start essentially attacking this and getting rid of this. And so for this lady, it has occurred with Hashimoto's. I've also seen people with lupus. I've seen people with Crohn's. I've seen people with celiac disease, not lupus. There's another one that's not popping up in my head. Just a lot of these videos I'm doing off the top. Okay, so when we started care with her, we took her through the exam process. They're on board, like, hey, we want to do this. And doing her X-rays, I remember when we do X-rays of the upper neck, the scans tell me straightforward if the nervous system is functioning well or not. Then the scans indicate, if they're not functioning, that the issue is due to the upper bone of the neck, first or second, which are one of these two. And with that, these two bones protect our brainstem, which is the whole entire regulator of our autonomic nervous system. That's why I was talking about it, because if that area is stressed out, then there's going to be compromise somewhere downstream. It's different effects for different people. Some people can have cardiovascular stuff like palpitations. Some people can have respiratory stuff like asthma or shortness of breath. Some people can have digestive issues like food intolerances or dysregulated bowel movements. Some people can also have autoimmune flare-ups or just immune system flare-ups, reactions, hypersensitivities. So when we took X-rays, we're assessing motion, because incorrect motion is what causes stress on the brainstem, which causes our scans to elicit and show what they do. So when we took X-rays and we elicited motion, we're able to see how the bones are, we know how the bones are supposed to move, but then we see how they are moving incorrectly. And for this lady, we saw that her second bone in particular was, instead of going from left to right and kicking out like it's supposed to, when I tilt my head to the left, the second bone should be able to glide up and rotate out. Basically, it glided back and rotated in. So when she tilted her head to the left, the second bone translated incorrectly based off of how it should, essentially torsioning her brainstem. So that was very obvious what to adjust. We're like, okay, adjust that second bone pretty much right here. And we're going to address that translation part and the rotation part of that. And I remember for her first adjustment, the adjustment is by hand. There's no movement of the head or neck. There's no rotation or lateral flexion. The patient is putting their head completely stationary on the table, and we're able to adjust just that one joint on that one side, just that one bone. So we're not moving both sides. Our hands aren't moving. The head isn't moving around. We're actually just doing that right there on the knee chest table. And I remember she was nervous for her first adjustment, adjusted her, and she had a ton of blood flow to her ear. Like her left ear got super red, and she felt that it got really warm in that moment. And then got her in the resting chair. She rested 20 minutes, and then got her at post-scan. Her post-scan looked really good. And then she texted me later that night. She's like, my neck and my lower back feel amazing. Wow. And I was like, cool, great. I'm big on the scans. Symptomatic relief is cool, but I really want to see these scans improve over time. And over care, it was about 6 weeks in, she started having like autoimmune flare-ups. Like she was getting blood work done, and they're showing elevated levels of the antibodies that are involved with Hashimoto's. Those are showing elevated signs. She also had like elevated monocytes, which is indicative of a long-term infection. And her blood work just wasn't that good. And we were just monitoring it. She had a redo of blood work in about, I think, 8 weeks at that time. And this was just like 4 to 6 weeks into care, right around her first re-exam. And when she would have exacerbations, she'd have primarily re-exacerbations of that dizziness stretch that she would get. It would be like 10 minutes where her heart rate would start just fluttering, and she gets super dizzy and just weak and just put down. And so she obviously continued on with care, and she got to a point where when we redid blood work, her blood levels normalized. She no longer had Hashimoto, indicative of Hashimoto antibodies. They came back to a regular level, and then also the monocyte area cleared up too. So the only thing that she changed was just getting under care. So that was a really cool story. In addition, she stopped having to take 4 ibuprofen a night to help her get out of bed. She was able to get up and down the stairs fine, get back to gardening. She was really big into baking and like catering for weddings. So she was able to start putting those projects back together and back in her priority list. And one other part that was really cool about her case was that pretty much all of fall, I think from like, she started in May and she ended up wrapping up care right after Christmas. So roughly about 6+ borderline 7 months. Just holidays, you miss some appointments, things like that happen. But she held an adjustment for about 4 or 5 months. I think it was August or September, all the way through till her very last visit. And I just kept looking for this one pattern that was indicative of her scans, where her scan basically went from like right to left and back down, and she just didn't have that, and I just kept leaving it alone, and she was pretty much good that entire time. Never reported any more symptoms, and just rode a super great stretch all the way through to the end of care. My longest hold is around 9 months, but that was a really awesome stretch where I was like, you're good, and you're good, and you're good. I don't need to touch it. It's still functioning well, and we're just going to keep this going. And her body responded fantastic, because if the body's functioning correctly, then what is the point of an adjustment? That's the entire purpose of this. So you're trying to restore nervous system function. Don't have the ego of I need to adjust you all the time. I'm not doing the work. Her body did the work. All we needed to do was just check, monitor, and make sure, confirm that her body was in the proper place in order for herself to heal. So that was a really cool story about someone dealing with an autoimmune condition. I have a few more about those that I'll be getting out, but hopefully this suffices for now. If you have an upper cervical doctor near you, please go hit him up for at least a consult and a scan. It is worth your while. It is worth your family's while, not just for right now, but for the longevity and prosperity of your life and health.